di sini juga part of Steven juga.
Check.
Ini kartu nama.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start our next panel discussion, and we would like to invite all of you to attend and following our discussion about building a sustainable and inclusive digital Indonesia. On the back. Okay, here we come. Okay, good afternoon, distinguished guests. Well, from a heavy topic, we now loosen up a bit. Yeah, we're talking about manufacturing and also the e-commerce sectors in Indonesia. And please let me introduce myself. I'm Dwi Anggia. I'm from TV1. I'm a journalist from TV1 Jakarta, Indonesia. And today I'm gonna be your moderator. We are going to talk about building a sustainable and inclusive digital in Indonesia. And I would like to introduce all my speakers, the three prominent people here. Can I have a round of applause for our three speakers? From the first one is Pak Immanuel Nugroho Wirajaya, the director of 23 PT Eiger Indo Multi-Product Industry, and also PT Eiger Ekowisata Nusantara. This is an umbrella company for brands such as Eiger and Bodypack. You can see over there, that's the product. It's an apparel equipment for outdoor activity. And also I have Bapak Vincent Iswara, CEO of Dana. Dana is a digital financial services company based in Indonesia, and Dana make people live easier, Pak, for the e-wallet and everything. Yeah. Also, we have the most prettiest women, my one and only. This is the Grab Indonesia, the CEO of Grab Indonesia, Ibu Neneng Gunadi. How are you, Ibu Neneng?
I'm good.
Yeah, we have a short discussion before, and very interesting one. Okay, we are going to talk about manufacturing industry in Indonesia and also e-commerce. But before we start our discussion, I would like to give a slight insight about our topic today. When talking about Indonesia, we're talking about the one of the largest textile and also garment producers in Southeast Asia, and also Indonesia playing a very important key role in a international market. And also we're talking about the digital transformation, talking about e-commerce also. Indonesia, I can proudly say we are one of the biggest also in Southeast Asia, yeah, Pak Vince, yeah, about fintechs and also many financial services. Okay. Did you have any presentation, every one of you?
No.
Okay.
Whenever you ask
Okay.
question, probably I can just read.
Yes.
There's going to be a slide behind us, but
Yes.
you
Okay.
can ask
You
us.
can
Yes, we're talking about sustainable and inclusive digital. First, maybe I would like to go to Pa Immanuel. FYI, I grew up with your Eiger and Bodypack brands
Oh, thank you very much.
back then when I were in a senior high school, perhaps. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And we're talking about producing a product, not only making benefit in economic, but also in building community and sustainability. What is your strategy to make your product can get along and contribute to the environmental also?
Thank you for the question. I think it's a very good question. For starters, we've been around for more than 45 years since the founding fathers, Paroni, my father, started the business. And throughout the time, it's always up and downs, of course. But we truly believed in everything that we do, that Eiger as a group will never be separated from the people, Indonesian culture, as well as the nature. So I think that is our pillars that get us where we are today, because the communities and the people that we support, they support us back, and always, getting hand in hand throughout all the turbulence, throughout the years to be where we are now. And we have a store in Switzerland, in Interlaken.
Wow, here.
Yeah, here in
Okay.
Switzerland.
Don't forget to visit the store, okay?
And the reason for that is because, well, it might be, in an economic standpoint, it might be a little bit funny because Swiss doesn't have that many populations, but Eiger itself is a mountain from Switzerland, so I think it's just a tribute to the mountain itself to have a store in Switzerland.
Nice.
At the same time, to bring the name of Indonesia to the global networks, and we are very proud to be an Indonesian brand that can establish a property in Switzerland.
Okay, talking about manufacturing, now everything now is shifting and talking about the sustainability. If we talk about that, do you have any, how Eiger give a contribution? We're talking about manufacture, we're also talking about the waste reduction, right? How your company contribute into the waste management?
Yeah, sustainability is a big word right now, and many people take it for granted. I think sustainability should not just be a goal; it should be embedded in the soul of in everything that we do, from head to toe. To be honest, upstream and downstream. And in terms of upstream, we do have several manufacturing companies, and we do own one as well, and we take it very seriously. So,
For
think-
example?
for example, when we enter the Swiss market, the regulation is very different.
Yeah.
So, and in the manufacturing, we really very selective in terms of choosing how they treat their laborers. Do they have a fair trade or not? What about the salaries, their working conditions? How do they manage their waste? And where do they source their raw materials? And I think it's a great opportunity for Indonesian manufacturing to be involved in this sustainability movement, so as to be more attractive to foreign investors and also buyers. And that's part of what we do in terms of sustainability. And in terms of the brand, we do a lot of things, to be honest. We have a program called the Zero Waste Mountain.
Zero risk.
Zero Waste Mountain, Indonesia. So in Wonosobo, Central Java. So this program basically, Indonesia have a lot of problems with trash. So a lot of hikers, trekkers, they go up to the mountains and they bring something and put the trash on the mountains.
Yes.
And what we do, we collaborate with the governments, and every rucksack that they bring, we calculate every little details that they bring, and when they go down, we have to data back all the products that they bring as well. So as a result, I think for more than 1 year, they have zero waste as of the moment.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
great.
and internally also in our company's headquarters, we internalize this sustainability for all the people. So we do education, we internalize in our values. So our mission is to provide the most experiential customer satisfaction with the spirit of sustainability. And it has to start with us first. And what we do is, now our waste management in our company, 21% is only, 80% is of our waste are all recycled and also composted.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah,
So perhaps you can produce an upcycle product also from the waste.
exactly.
Something like that?
In terms of products, we do have, you can look around here. We have the Eco Savior here is a rucksack that is made out of 50 PET bottles.
Okay.
And the frame, the back frame for the rucksack is made out of bamboos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which one?
The silver one.
Can you show us?
Oh.
The big one, that one.
Oh, this one, yeah. It's a bit stuck.
Oh. So it was made from bamboo?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
the frame is made of
Oh,
bamboos.
that one, yeah.
And the reason why bamboo? Because it is very Indonesian driven. If you go to Indonesia, you see a lot of people. We
Yes.
call it kaki lima, yeah, five
Yep.
hands
Yeah.
on the road. They carry the goods with bamboos, right? So bamboo itself has a very strong durability, and this is what inspires us. While at the same time, it is also very eco-friendly. And the materials is recycled polyester made out of 50 PET bottles. So this is one of our local products that have gone to the international market and is very sustainable.
How was your customer response with the bamboo?
They say it's expensive.
It's expensive.
But to be honest, sustainability is very expensive. That's why what I always encourage and say is that we have to be very conscious that sustainability is not just about products or places or people. We have to be also sustainable in terms of our pricing, because it doesn't make sense that we are sustainable, but the company is not sustainable in terms of profitability and longevity, right? So I think there's a job for us as companies to balance the two.
How did you do that to mitigate it? Because its sustainability is expensive. Of course, the products also gotta be high price. And how you manage with that to rise up your sales for your product?
Yeah, that's a very good question as well. We cut down margins, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, we cut
Oh,
down margins
wow.
because
What a
in
big
business,
contribution
right?
you did.
One thing that we realized is that every product has to have a market.
Yes.
And it just doesn't make sense that we have a product that is very sustainable, that is of very high quality, but it cannot sell, right? So we have to have a product market fit that fits to the market that we're targeting. So Switzerland is a bit higher. They have more buying power, so that's why we have different kind of product arrangement for the Swiss market. But for Indonesian market, for example, we do different strategy. One of which is upcycling. So upcycling is Yeah, something like, use materials that have been used before. We make to be a garment again. So this is one of
Yeah, that's
one of the
really cool,
examples that we
So what
that we
is
have
what is
produced.
it made of?
It is cotton, cotton ripstops, from used
Okay.
shirts and jackets, and we call it the Eiger green.
I do green.
Eiger green.
Eiger green.
Yeah.
Eiger green. Okay.
Also, in terms of this, in I think more than 10 of our flagships, we do have free repairment services. So we encourage our customers to use their products and do not throw it away, but you can always repair to our store and wear it for a lifetime.
Okay. You can always repair. What if we can we trade with a new one? No. You have to buy a new one.
Yeah, if it defaults by our fault, then you can trade for a new one. But
Okay.
yeah. And it applies for all of our brands, Eiger, Body Pack, as well as Export.
Oh.
We have lifetime warranty for the
Oh.
bags. Yeah.
That's really nice. Yeah. Okay. Before we continue.
It's a mountain, yeah.
Yeah, I would like to go to Pak Vince. Pak Vince, we're talking about Dana, talking about digital financial, and with your product, with the apps and everything, how do you suggest to live up the life quality of the public, of the people of Indonesia, perhaps?
Sure. I think the key factor is what is it that overall the value propositions that we bring, right? What is it that the market needs? When you talk about countries like Indonesia, a lot of people sometimes they go to Indonesia and they go to Jakarta and they think, oh, this is Indonesia. Well, it's pretty advanced, pretty mature, and there is a lot of buildings, very modern high-rise buildings. It's almost similar like in Singapore, and they thought that everywhere else in Indonesia would be the same. That would be such a very big mistake.
It's only in Jakarta.
It's
you
only
see
in
that?
Jakarta. And then if you talk about GDP per capita of Jakarta, GDP per capita of Jakarta is close to $40,000. Whereas in Indonesia, it's about close to about 5,000 now.
That's a
really big
Yeah,
gap,
big
right?
gap, yeah.
So that's why. And if you talk about improving the life of most of the Indonesian, you have to understand that the most of the Indonesian doesn't really have formal access to financial services yet,
yeah.
right? And I think it doesn't mean, maybe my exact terms is wrong. It's not that they don't have access. They do have access, but they're not using it yet. So they are either unbanked or underbanked. When you talk about accessibility, I mean, there is BRI, one of the largest banks in Indonesia, have a lot of branches all over Indonesia. There's a lot of banking agents. Right now, of course, now there is also accessibility through application, mobile apps, that's what we do. And so I think it's very important to give that the pain point that most of the Indonesians still don't really access this formal financial services. And because of that, what you call the economy of Indonesia right now, the majority of which for the majority populations still are invisible. They're not really being part of the formal economies because there's still a lot of transactions that's happening that is offline, right? Either pure cash or through, peer-to-peer, and then it doesn't really record it in overall the GDP. So that's one. Two, because of this invisibility, right, a lot of the populations also will not have access to able to actually get for example, lending, or other type of financial services because there is no really actual data. So that's what we do. What we do is we provide them with
Accessible
access,
and
right, to this
affordable
digital economy
Okay, yeah.
through our app.
Okay, and talking about accessible and affordable digital financial services, can you share with us how many consumers that have been using Dana for nowadays in?
Well, I'll say two things, right? First, I want to talk about Indonesia first. So Indonesia has been undergoing such a rapid transformation. So if you talk about the growth, as of 2019, there's only about 43% of the populations that have access to formal financial services. As of 2023, now it goes up until close to 90%. I think it's about 89%.
Yeah.
So that's just how how the market, how are the technology companies such as ours contributed to this overall growth, these digitalizations. In our case, we now have close to 200 million registered users. Like we have about close to 40 million daily active transactions. For the populations, and they use it for everything, right? They use it for paying their bills. They use it for paying for online. They use it for paying for offline. They're using it for transfer money. They're using it for a lot of sort of activities that really are pretty, I would say, not just discretionary, but also primary use of their daily activities.
Also, perhaps top up their Grab application also?
Yeah,
perhaps?
sure. I mean, you can, yeah.
Okay.
Indirectly, yes.
If you're talking about e-commerce, financial technology, and everything, we know that, even though we know that Indonesia is widespread cellular phone users, but we also talk about the digital divide in Indonesia.
Yes.
As you mentioned before, the gap is really fast.
Yes, we're just talking. That one is just talking about the financial gap.
Yes,
Talk about
digital gap is also one thing.
Yes.
In terms of income, education,
Yes.
age, and region.
Yes.
How do you see that as an opportunity, and also how you mitigate that?
So definitely, that's one thing that a lot of people have to understand here, right? I mean, we do have digital gaps because one of the gateway of the digital ecosystem is actually the paywall. So imagine this, right? When we talk about a paywall, it's like there are certain services, applications that if you want to access to it, you actually have to pay.
Yeah.
And if you can't pay, you will not have access to it. And if you talk about accessibility, if you talk about the price points of the people can access to it, I would say almost all application in the world is pretty accessible for every sort of people from any demographic. But if you don't have ability to pay for it, you actually are excluded out of it. So one, you need to have access to internet, right? Which is in Indonesia, that's pretty good already. About 80% of the Indonesian already have smartphones.
Yeah.
The majority of the Indonesians already have mobile phones. So then access to internet is already there. Two, if you have access to some of the application ecosystem, you talk about the search engine, the streaming, the social media, they're already there. But now you talk about more and more of the services that can help either their daily lives, or if you're small businesses, you want to have tools to manage your companies, then a lot of times you need to pay for it.
Okay. If you're talking business, if we should say that you not only see Indonesian people as a market, but you also have to give a contribution to educate them with the digital things and everything. Do you have any community responsibility or for engagement with the community or something like that?
For sure. Accessibility without literacy can be dangerous. And one of the key is not we just purely giving access. I mean, let's go back to financial services, for example, right? If you give them access to any sort of financial services, let's say even with payment, now it's very easy for people to pay. It's very easy for people to transfer money to each other. And if you don't educate them, please be careful. Don't share your password. Don't share your OTP. And what's going to happen? People are just going to ask for it, and you're going to give it. Yeah. And that's happened.
In Indonesia?
Yeah, well, that's actually not just in Indonesia, but everywhere.
A lot, everywhere.
Yeah,
okay.
But that's the thing. That's our job as well, to educate them. Please be careful, because the way that this digital ecosystem functions, it's not exactly the same. I mean, if you're face-to-face, I give you money, I know it's you. But if you're digital and I give you money, it's like, is it you, right? So we need to educate them that. That's just talking about payment. Now we're talking about financial services. If there is so easy to access to lending, right, and you're not be careful for it, you might be trapped into a lot of the things. For example, like, there's very high interest, there's a very fast return, and so there's a lot of penalties toward it, and so when people get access to it and get it, and they don't realize that, and then they started to get trapped into it. So we, as the ecosystem players, have to educate.
Yeah, it's happened to know that there's so many cases in Indonesia about the online debt and everything, something like that.
Yes.
Okay, we are moved to Grab Indonesia. When talking about Grab, back way in my home, if I'm hungry, I remember Grab. If I'm just picking up my phone and check on my Grab. Okay, Ibu Neneng, we talked earlier about you bring rendang restu mande to Davos. Can we give a round of applause first for this one? Yeah. I can say it's a smart thing that you can see a potential small businesses and you brought it level up into the international market. This is, I can say that this is one contribution from Grab Indonesia. What else that you're gonna do for Indonesia business to help them leveling up?
Okay, I guess first of all, I would like to explain because why with technology nothing is impossible anymore. So we help the people in Indonesia, for example, with GrabCar, right? Now, by the way, GrabCar is like Uber because I know everyone here knows Uber and Lyft, right? So Grab is the Uber of Indonesia or the Uber of Southeast Asia. Now with technology, we help a lot of people that previously they don't have anything, they don't have any income. So with Grab, they can be our driver, and they also, the consumer is also now, is very easy to order a ride. So in Indonesia, it's not only Grab car, but it's also Grab bike. Grab bike is 2 wheels, right? Because in Indonesia, there are still a lot of two-wheeler. Now, if you think about it, what we actually contribute to Indonesia, before COVID, 30% of our driver is people who do not have income or they've been terminated.
Lose their job, yeah.
All right. After COVID, 50% of them are people that don't have income. So I guess Grab give people opportunity to get income. That's for the driver. But we also onboard merchant, food merchant, like Restumande.
Yeah, tell us more about the food merchant.
The food merchant, during COVID, you can imagine, right? A lot of people don't have a job. So they stay at home. They cannot go out. In Indonesia, it's very difficult. They can't go out. So what they did, and a lot of people good in cooking. So they cook at home and they sell it through our platform. Okay. And with that, we help Indonesia to make sure the economy continues to run. And we actually thank our government because without internet access in a lot of Indonesia, that won't happen. But because it's already 80% of the Indonesian area is can access internet, that is helping the people of Indonesia and helping government as well to make sure the economy is still running. Yeah. So that's about that's number one, right? That's for technology. The other thing, we also want to make sure that our passenger feel safe because first of all, we use technology with what we call audio recording.
Okay.
So, obviously with consent. So when the passenger taking ride with a Grab car, then all the audio is recorded. Then people is like, why? No, just to make sure there is no my words against your words.
Yeah.
If there is something about harassment and all those, so it's safe.
I
People
just knew
feel
that.
safe. Yeah.
You record all the communication.
Yeah,
in the
with
car.
the consent.
Yeah. Okay.
So to make sure, because previously they're always my words against your words.
Yeah.
Right. If something
If
happened.
you're talking about the harassment and everything.
Yeah, and we also create what we call family account because in Indonesia, a lot of people do not have car or bike, right?
Yeah.
So the parents is the one who can order the bike and a car for their children, and it's safe because it's share rights. So the parents knows where
The
is
position, the
my
location, yeah.
my child, right? So I mean things like that.
Okay.
So yeah.
I'm really interested with the previous slide. Perhaps we can go
Previous
back. Perhaps you can explain for us what is the services that been
Okay.
provided by Grab: mobility, delivery, and financial services.
So I talk about Grab car, and we also have Grab electric. We are the pioneer in Indonesia. We have 11,000 Grab bike and Grab car with Grab electric. So we help the government. Then we have Grab food. This is delivery food like Uber Eats. And then we have also package delivery. We call it Grab Express. And we also have financial services through, similar with Dana, which is what we call OVO. And we also have digital bank. We call it Super Bank. We have GrabMart so that you can order groceries and everything. We have GrabMart Pasar. Pasar is wet market. So we help people in wet market to sell their product. So we can uplift the life of Indonesian people. So if you think about it, why we have OVO and why we have Superbank? As Vincent mentioned, it's very difficult for Indonesian to get loan from the bank because usually you need to have a collateral, right? But when they are a driver in Grab or a merchant in Grab, we have all the data, we have all the history to make sure that when we give loan, they can pay back, right? So that helps. So as like Restu Mande, the merchant that we bring here, they start from what you call a small restaurant in the wet market. But now they're go global already. They already export to all over the world, Middle East,
Wow.
Europe, US. They already got FDA approved, Australia, Singapore. So guess what? We help Indonesian people to uplift their business. The small, medium enterprise, nothing is impossible anymore.
Okay, it means that Grab leveraging the technology to provide innovative solution, yeah, to improve the life quality and also the business, the
Yep.
small businesses.
That's correct.
Other than that, you can share with us what else the strategies from Grab, not just providing these services, but also to lift the quality of life of people, especially the partner and the merchant in the Grab.
Yeah, so what we have done, we need to make sure we educate them. So when we onboard them, whether they are driver or they are merchant, we educate them. Let's say the driver, we need to make sure they know how to drive, right? With the merchant, we also need to make sure they understand how to market their products, about financial management and all those stuff. So we are educating them, and we also have a program, we call it Kota Masa Depan. So we are actually from Sumatra to Papua. We go to the field to educate the merchant, educate the driver. We have a training program, and I always touch. Let's say, for example, there is a driver in Indonesia. She is a bachelor of economics,
Okay.
right? But because of COVID, right, her husband left her, and she has 3 kids. She was fired. She doesn't have anything. So she become a Grab 2 wheels driver, not 4 wheels.
Okay.
She has a bachelor. Now she earn pretty okay, because if I said $400 a month, you will say, can she live? But then the minimum wage is less than that. So she's very happy with that. And there is another one, a mother with 6 kids,
Okay.
right? She start with 2 wheels driver, as a 2 wheels driver. her husband's sick, and she is the breadwinner. And now she can buy a car, and she makes sure her children can go to the university.
Just becoming the Grab driver.
Right.
Okay. Can you share to us about the Kota Masa Depan, the future city?
Yeah.
What is the future city?
Why we said Kota Masa Depan? Because we believe that the future of Indonesia is also in tier 2, tier 3 cities. So we want to make sure each and every one of Indonesian has the same opportunity to be successful. And it is true. Now, the growth of tier 2, tier 3 cities in Indonesia is high double digit compared to big cities. We are, Grab is in 258 cities in Indonesia from Aceh to Papua. So we want to make sure we support the government, then we become Indonesian Emas in 2045.
Wow. Okay. Now, I'm gonna give the opportunity for the guests, our distinguished guests, to perhaps throwing one or two questions for my speakers here. We are going to talk about the sustainability and the industry also. It's okay. Perhaps anyone want to ask about the manufacturing, the e-commerce sector? Please do.
Hi everyone, my name is Hans, and I currently work at EY Amsterdam as an international tax consultant, and I'm part of Global Indonesian Professional Association and also Indonesian Professional Association in the Netherlands. So I just want to ask Pak Vincent and Bu Neneng, because your company is involved in the digital transactions or like providing financial solutions. And we know that currently there are a lot of cybersecurity threats going on. And the question is how your company mitigate this, first of all, and secondly, how your company maintain data privacy and protection for the consumers that involved in these transactions.
Yeah, that's really interesting question. We can go to Pak Vince.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
Okay, first of all, for Grab, security is the number one, right? So we have what we call Grab Defense ourselves, right, to make sure that, you know, everything is safe. And in fact, there are some banks in Indonesia also use our product because the trust of the customer is the number one for us, right? And we actually the pioneer in Indonesia in terms of data privacy. So we have DPO, data protection officer. Thank you. Yeah, so we make sure everything we follow, and we also make sure that through association, and we are pioneering to make sure everyone, every company in Indonesia, because it's new for Indonesia, I agree, it's not easy, but we're pioneering with association to make sure everyone understand what it means by data protection and all those, and also what is the implication if you don't. So yeah.
That's the number one concern in
That's the
Grab.
number one
Yeah.
concern, especially for us as a technology company.
Okay. Please, Pak Vince.
Yeah, I want to continue what Nene is saying, right? I think trust is the key here, because if you already being onboarded to digital ecosystem and you don't build that trust, and they will not stay, they will go back. And that's basically a step back into the progress. So like all of us in the industry, trust and security, we put as a highest priority. In our case, we do get involved a lot, not only just in technology. For example, right, and we talk about certification, ISO, you talk about PCI DSS, you talk about like this all the global certifications. We definitely already onboarded them. In fact, one of our key indications if we talk about risk management. And we talk about risk management is how much you lose money because related to risk. And I can proudly say that in Indana, our risk loss rate is among the best, not just in Indonesia, but among the world. We have a less loss rate compared to any financial institutions globally. Our ratings also, and there's a company that does this, we call it Security Scorecard, which is they're part of the WEF also members that rank this security. Our rank is among the highest among any institutions, not just the like technology company or payment, but any institutions. So that's the key here, and then that's encourage people to keep using it. So second thing is it's also not just in terms of our own security. Right? I think we mentioned about we educate the users again and again how to make sure that you can protect your account. So for example, like for a lot of people, when you talk about security, consumer security, you know PIN, you know OTP, right? Recently there is a biometric face, and then some of them, I don't know if you know passkey, there's the new technology that's being adopted. We adopt all of that, and we even added more. We have like more than 10 security layers that is not even being developed anywhere else in the world. To make sure that every transaction that you do can get protected. So, and that's the key here. And then we want to progress the digital ecosystem, and we need to build that. We need to innovate that, and we also collaborate. We collaborate among the industry. So if there's any scam, if there's any fraudulent transactions, our team, we share. Immediately we share to each other, and that's unique.
Yeah.
Really, that's unique in Indonesia. We do share if there's anything wrong. We immediately try to stop it. We immediately try to prevent that, and we share what we call it the modus, right, to everyone, so that anyone else don't get.
Can you share with us one of the models so we can be more precautious about this?
Sure, no, I will do that. And it's one of the
For example,
one of the most popular one, and then not just in Indonesia but globally,
Okay.
fake customer service.
Okay.
Yes. So suddenly you get a call from any of the institutions that you really interact with frequently, whether that's a bank, whether that's an e-commerce, whether that's digital payment, whether that's ride-hailing, and then they claim, I'm a customer service of this company. So your account is being hacked. So please let us know if this is you, and how do you do that? I will give you a code, and then you tell us what that code is. That's your
Okay.
OTP.
Okay.
Correct.
Immediately, if you do that, they have access to your account. And then for the PIN, they don't ask. They're smart enough, how they do that, because and this is also education for all of you guys, yeah?
Yeah, that's important.
Don't put your birth date as your PIN.
Oh,
Please,
okay.
don't.
I think I'm gonna change my PIN.
They all know that already, so they don't ask. So they just put it
Okay.
as like your birth date, and then they ask you, so OTP, your account is exposed.
Okay, can you share with us what the tips? How do we handle with that? Because I once experienced that. In the middle of the night, like 1 a.m. in the morning, one of the bank of Indonesia called me. At that hours, we are still sleepy and not awake, but sometimes it's really dangerous, right?
There's two things to do that, of course. One, if you're quite aware that you don't know the phone numbers, don't pick it up or block it. Two, right?
Yeah.
Some companies are that already doing this. We have what we call scam report. So
Okay.
we give you an access inside. If you have a phone number or email or any sort of even link that you're not sure, you put that number and link into the scam checker,
It's gonna
and
show
we
up.
immediately check it for you. And then
Okay.
if it's not legit, if it's found there's a blacklisted or is suspected, we immediately report that to our Ministry of Communications.
Okay.
So then they will be able to actually also give information to the other institutions on to block that account.
Okay, thank you for the tips. Okay. I'm gonna give another opportunity to our guests here. Do you have any question about the e-commerce or manufacturing business and everything? If not, I'm gonna go to Pa Emmanuel. In creating a business, there's opportunity and also there's risk. What do you think? Can you share with us your point of view about the risk in building manufacturing that's sustainable, that's concerned about environment also?
Okay, thank you for the question again. I'm going to answer questions with maybe a different approach. I think in every business we have to think more holistically, more than what we do as of the moment. I think that applies to all businesses such as Grab, Gojek, Dana as well. I mean, eventually we all can create an ecosystem of ourselves. For example, in Eiger itself, you talk about sustainability earlier, right? And it is very hard to be sustainable and keep the cost low as to give the best price for the customers. And part of what we do to innovate is we expand from the retail industry to an ecotourism industry. So I think we are one of the outdoor brand in the world that have the concession of 326 hectares of national park in West Java, Bogor, Indonesia. And the whole goal about the conserving the national park is not just because we want to expand to another industry, but I think being in the outdoor industry, it is only right for us to contribute back to the outdoor and nature. And at the same time, we want to inspire the next generations of children, the alpha and beta, etc. in the future, that we have a beautiful nature that we have to take care on. And also at the same time, in terms of economics, we're going to build attractions that can contribute to the profitability of the business itself. So we're gonna have the longest suspension bridge, one of the first cable car in Indonesia, while at the same time promoting and inspiring people to take care of their nature. And maybe lastly is to also open the door or open the gate to the urban people who live in big cities to explore the beauty of nature.
Okay. And what are the potential risks and challenges associated with Eiger roles in promoting community engagement, and how you mitigated that?
I think challenges are everywhere, and communities are people, right? So
Yeah.
they are always challenging. But as I've said before, communities are integral to what we do. I mean, we are a business who are based on activities and outdoor sports and things that they do outdoors in the nature. And we will not, and the reason why we are here, as I've mentioned before, is because of all of them. We are big because the communities help us a lot and we support them a lot. But the unique things about Indonesia is that we have a lot of people. We have lots and lots of, we are the 4th largest populated countries in the world, and it's a benefit and it's also a challenge, because we have to really be cautious and selective in terms of supporting which communities that are aligned with our values, and just be very open-minded and selective, I guess.
Okay. Open-minded and selective. Okay. Bu Neneng, we go to Grab again. Grab, what role does Grab play to promoting the digital inclusive, especially in Indonesia? And also the same question also for Dana later on.
Of course.
Okay. For the digital inclusive, what we have done, as I already mentioned before, right? I make sure that we train our merchant, we train our driver, because if you think about it, because of them using our application, it means that they aware of digital and they become literate in terms of digital, right? And also for the customer, we also in a way doing that, and we keep educating them because we keep innovating also all the time. And we promote, as I already mentioned, we promote Buat Kota Masa Depan, which is the future of cities. Sorry, it's in Bahasa. So I guess that is our job to educate digital literacy, also in financial industry, financial services, right? Because we have e-wallet, we also have digital bank. And if you think about it, why we have a digital bank is to make sure we can serve underbanked and unbanked, because otherwise it's very difficult for Indonesian people to uplift their life. Yeah.
Okay. As for Dana?
Sure. I think, through discussion that we had, I mean, with Bonenek, with me, in regards to Indonesia current status as a digital divide, I would say the divide is getting less and less. Even I would say smaller than other countries in the region. Now, Indonesia are already being recognized as the fastest, transformations into a digitalization among the neighboring countries. And in fact, we're leading in a lot of categories. I'll give you an example, right? Right now, all of you, if you go to Indonesia, if you want to pay, for example, right, there is only one QR, and you can use it everywhere, like in everything. And in Switzerland, for example, right, and then we tested. In some areas, you can only use cards. In some areas, you can only use cash. In some areas, for example, the mountain, sometimes you can use QR. Yeah. But not all universal. So in Indonesia, you go to even the street vendor, you go to the most expensive restaurant, you go to
even the kaki lima, right?
Even the kaki lima,
they use QR.
You can use QR. So that's Chris. Chris, right? That's we need to. That's our initiative, a project, a program by our central bank, and that has been one of the most recognized successful program, and not just in the region but among the world. In converting into digital financial ecosystem. So that's talking about the divide. I think the divide is getting smaller and smaller. So, but there is an increase of the other part of the divide, because if you take a look at what's going on now, the advancement of technology is increasing in such a rapid pace, right? And then this is nothing to do now with accessibility anymore. It's about literacy, because a lot of people don't understand what are the things they need to do or what they need to get. For example, right? It's about Gen AI. Every week there's a new announcement, right? And then which one is good, which one is that, and then what can we do about it? And then every announcement you get new innovation. So you talk about creating video. You're creating right now. Basically, if you want to create an avatar, or let's say you want to create a customer service that's fully digital with no human in it, you can do that within few seconds.
Yeah. Even we have now AI presenters in TV1.
We have AI presenters, right?
I almost lost my job.
No, don't worry about that. It's like they're never going to be as good as you. Right? But that's the thing. So it's there's a lot of people still don't understand. So it is our job now. But once again, right?
To educate. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Educating the people, because the challenge is in Indonesia, I think you will agree, is the financial literacy. Mm-hmm. Because of the digital literacy is good, but the financial literacy is not so good. Yep. There's a lot of illegal lending, illegal gambling.
Yes.
That create huge problems.
Yes.
That is our job,
yes,
to educate everyone in Indonesia about financial literacy. That is our challenge.
Okay. Talking about the challenge, we're talking also about the government. How do you see the policy of the Indonesian government that support your strategy in helping the
sure, I can start
education?
With that. Sorry, I don't want to be, I used to be very gentleman about it, but I can start with it because I do get involved. I'm a member of the Indonesian Payment Association.
Yeah.
So I do keep in consistent communications with the regulators and the government. They're very supportive. I don't think it's so amazing that our government has been digital first, among one of the most progressive supporter of digitalizations among a lot of the government in the world. And when we talk about supportive, they keep an open communication all the time. So when they give out policies, they actually don't just say, oh, okay, this is policy, you follow it, or you get screwed, right? No, they actually engage before they release the policy. For example, when we talk about the PDP, data privacy protections, we also get involved in drafting the national law.
Okay.
Yeah, so some of the companies really, they engage. Yeah, we. No, not we, it's not just we. Yeah, yeah. It's that's how progressive they are. They want to get the industry involved because they don't want to come up with policy that will inhibit the progress. That's one. Two, and then they created initiative, not just domestically, but globally as well. For example, with Chris, with the QR Indonesian standard, right? So now, all e-wallet in Indonesia, you can go, the majority, not all yet, because they need to actually do some little development to update it. They can go to Singapore, they can do Malaysia, they can go to Thailand. Pretty soon they can go to Japan, they can go to India, they can go to China. and you can use our wallet. So they do this initiative globally. This is our government. This is not the private sectors that's doing it.
Okay.
So it's our government has been very supportive.
Really supportive. Okay, that was a good discussion we had. Perhaps the closing statement also for Pa Emmanuel, if you're talking about the business building sustainability.
Well, I think I'd like to invite everyone to have the spirit of sustainability in everything that we do, whatever it is, personal life and in business as well. Because I think the future is in our hands for our children next, and I think it is very important to take care of the world. And to be honest, and for all the people here, the audience, I think Indonesia is a wonderful place to do business, and we have a lot of opportunities. We do have a lot of places that are beautiful. To be honest, we have 56 now national parks. They are very beautiful and are very open for investments for all around the world. So go and explore Indonesia.
Pak Vince, closing statement? Perhaps to invite the investment
Yes,
in Indonesia?
I mean, I would say, please take a look at Indonesia. Indonesia is undergoing a rapid transformations. We talk about these digital transformations. We talk about even manufacturing, sustainabilities. We also do track sustainabilities. I know for sure, Buneveng also as well. We're very passionate about that, both of us. And you talk about, the demographic itself. Indonesia is right now, up until 2045, in the first time ever, that has what we call bonus demographic. So meaning that the productive age, it's growing or it's like larger than the non-productive age. And that's just mean that most of the Indonesians are young, are hungry, and ambitious. And tech savvy as well. Yes, they are.
And consumptive as well.
Consumptive also.
And consumptive.
And
yeah.
consumptive. And I want to say, this is very important, and innovative.
Innovative.
that's right.
Yes. So please come and invest in Indonesia.
Buneveng, please.
Yeah, Indonesia has 280 million people,
Yes.
right? And majority are very young, and the growth consumption is huge. As I mentioned, in tier 2, tier 3 city is double digit.
Yes.
So our president say the GDP growth is gonna be 8%. I don't know where.
Oh, soon.
Soon. No, I don't know where in other country can have growth 8%. So guys, come to Indonesia. Young people, very innovative, a lot of startup, and they're very nice.
And the government supportive.
And the government supportive.
And also a good market.
And
A very good
a
consumptive.
great market, very consumptive.
And beautiful.
And
And
beautiful.
beautiful.
You're very beautiful.
So,
Okay, thank you so much. Can we give a round of applause for our three speakers for today? Ibu Neneng, thank you. Pak Vince, thank you. Pak Emmanuel. And I have
you.
to conclude our discussion today. Thank you for all the audience and participants. And have a good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.
May I have a picture of the four of you?
Oh, yes.